This month on Half-Ass Movie Podcast, we kick off Thanksgiving Candy Month with more Second City members than you can throw a Timbit at. Welcome to Half-Ass Movie Podcast. Welcome back to Half-Ass Movie Podcast, a show where we put together a half-ass theme as an excuse to watch movies. My name is Adam Fortress, and joining me today, he told me that his comedy sketch group kicked the shit out of the Second City comedy group. So he shouts go backs from the internet.
He would never say such things. By the way, the secret sauce to this movie, to this documentary, is old age.
And in high school, his nickname was Dave Thomas, not because he was good at sketch comedy, but rather his addiction to the square hamburgers. Bruce Leslie.
Everything I loved was square back then, but I've also known quite a few jolly Canadians, so I like this movie.
Well, we have got a lot of good stuff here for you today. Welcome back to HMP, everybody. We are kicking off Thanksgiving Candy, a series of films from the late, great John Candy with a movie all about John Candy, his life, his comedy, and his early passing at the age of 43, which is my age. I'll last till April. I'm pretty sure of that one. So, so excited for this month, everybody. I think this is a good one. John Candy, a beloved character of stage and screen. I don't know, just on stage, not really. We didn't really
for personal reasons, I'm kind of glad he didn't make any horror movies this month.
No more horror movies for John. He plays the devil in one of these movies, so I guess we can kind of, or at least for a second.
Yeah, that's real life horror if you've ever been on a road trip with an uncomfortable companion, but that's for another week.
Indeed. Before we get to this, everything, we do want to remind people that this show is broadcasting live over on YouTube Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can hang out with all the dirty babies here in the chat. Trillian is already in here with his Showtime chat there and everything. And we really appreciate all of you guys showing up. And hey, for us, this is a pretty packed room. We got some decent watchers right now. So we really appreciate all of you guys doing that. And since you're all here right now, do us the biggest of giant favors. Hit that like button. It sounds so stupid and silly, but boy, oh boy, does it make the algorithm go like, hey, people tend to like this. And it helps those numbers go up. And they've been going up. I was telling the boys before the program here and everything, YouTube channel and everything, all things are up over week over week, month over month and everything. So we're doing great. And it's because of all of you awesome people liking, subscribing, commenting, and doing all of those fun things. And we should have more videos coming up there on the YouTube channel in not too awful long. So we really appreciate that. And if you really love this show, why don't you drop us one of these?
Fortress
That's
Bucks.
right. If you do the super chats there, we count those as Fortress Bucks, and we'll read those out here on the show and everything. And you can also head on down to patreon.com/HMB. Get yourself that pre-show, post-show, Dinger Zone. And in the Dinger Zone this week, we are talking our top 5. Do we call it biopics? I think it was technically the term.
Bio-documentaries?
Biography. Yeah, biodocs. Biography documentaries, yes.
So we got some good stuff coming up for you, and that'll be in the Dinger Zone that is recorded right after this in the live show. So if you were listening live and everything, you can stick around after the main show for the Dinger Zone, and then the next day, the Dinger Zone is erased from time and history. But for the people over at patreon.com/HMP, they'll always have access to that Dinger Zone and helping support this show at the exact same time. So thank you to all of you fancy dirty babies for keeping this show afloat month after month, year after year, and all that kind of good stuff. And hey, man, if you don't have any of that, just again, like and subscribe. That is the easiest thing that you can do. That is absolutely free and costs you nothing, but just a little one of those. That's all that is. And if you are one of the few people out there, they're rolling out a little bit by little bit, from what I'm to understand, is the hype button there on YouTube. Hit that hype button whenever you see one of the videos, man. That supposedly is like a like on steroids or something like that. So like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me see if I can get my prompter here to work properly, and I can get us up to where exactly we're supposed to be, but I'm not. It's not working. So we'll just vamp for me, fellas. Sorry.
So
I'm gonna do the 3D. I'm gonna do the 3D trick that they do on SCTV all the time.
So do you think you'd like to walk in that sneaker?
Definitely not. It's Lego.
It's what I thought. Legos are very sweet on bare feet.
I gotta say, with SCTV, there were 2 things I wanted to see with this documentary, and one of them is on it. and it's mentioned by Conan. The other one, they don't mention it at all, which is Celebrity Blow Up, which was a sketch that they had that 10-year-old Sean just thought was the funniest thing in the world, where they'd have, cast members from SCTV come out on stage, and like they'd be impersonating some celebrity, and then John Candy would blow them up, and like with like fog and smoke and pyrotechnic in front of the person, and then the camera would come into like it'd be like a close-up shot of John Candy's face, and he'd go, they blowed up real good. It was just the dumbest thing in the world, but 10-year-old Sean thought that was the funniest joke in the world.
I've never gotten to watch
see it.
I've never gotten to watch much SCTV, so maybe that's something I'll go dip my toes in here soon.
I will warn you, Bruce, if you're going to watch, like if they have like a best of compilation of SCTV, that's what you need to watch, because SCTV, there would be like because I watched just about every episode. It is so hard to get through certain episodes, just because like they'll have an entire half hour that's just a parody of Ben-Hur, and just stuff like that, where you're just like,
maybe I'll just
who is this for?
I'll peruse some clips on YouTube, perhaps.
Yeah, like a super cut of stuff on SCTV, like that bit of Yellow Belly that Conan brings up, like that is so killer. That was the other thing that I really wanted to see, because I love Yellow Belly so much. It was like the most surprising thing in the entire world you've ever seen. Like he shoots the kid in the back.
It looks like Adam's ready to take the helm.
Get out of here. He shoots that kid in the back. It's so funny. Oh,
the mom, I don't know. I think the mom I'm always a sucker for the exclamation point on the joke I didn't think was coming.
One more. Like, I can't believe you just shot him. Like, well, I suppose I shoot you too.
But he waits until her back is turned, and then he shoots her. As she's screaming at him, he just cowers away. God, it's so good. It's so
Yellow
good.
Yellow
Belly. God.
Oh man, I love that guy.
So with this being John Candy month here and everything, we're kicking it off with the brand new movie on Prime right now, John Candy, I Like Me. And here's the IMDb plotline. As we know, IMDb always 100% correct in everything they say and or do. Explores the life and legacy of the iconic funny man John Candy, who died of a heart attack in 1994 at the age of 43. Quite clinical there, IMDb. Good job.
That's all right.
I didn't get the writer because I put that in there. But it is directed by Colin Hanks, who did a fantastic documentary in 2015 called All Things Must Pass about Tower Records. I recommend people check that out. And he's got that famous dad there, Tom Hanks, and starring nearly every Canadian comedian over the course of the last maybe 50 years.
There is a group of people that is noticeably absent, though. And it kind of sticks out. It's the kids in the hall aren't in this, nor is Mike Myers. And I was very surprised by that.
Interesting. You're right. I didn't think Mike Myers, but that's certainly there.
I was very surprised by that.
Going in, what'd you think, fellas?
I was really excited to see this. John Candy, man, if you're a certain age, as Sean will attest to, he was just a big figure. And I don't mean his stature. I just mean he was a big figure in entertainment. And something that they do point out in this documentary is, you do look, and he's chubby, but his characters don't have to be chubby. You know what I mean? He's still portraying someone that, they happen to be chubby. They could be thin too. And it would, he could look like Steve Martin. And if he gives the same performance, these characters are still going over. This isn't Chris Farley that we're talking about. This isn't John Belushi. And I don't mean to throw any shade at them. It's just John Candy operated above the physicality. I mean, he didn't mind being physical times when he needed to, but there was something about him. If you were a chubby kid in particular back, I'd say between like 84 and 88, man, he was somebody you could really be happy about, be proud of. So I was really eager to see this.
He was a big dude who was like cool. He was like, he seemed like a cool guy and stuff like that, and carried himself like, you know, like the captain of the football team sort of thing. Like, just because he's just, you know, a big giant guy and whatnot, it was, you know, made no difference. It was just like, it was all that personality that it was that, and we certainly find that out throughout this documentary.
There's three things that I want to bring up for this. One is that, you know, I was not like a giant John Candy fan. I liked him. I'm not a monster, you know. I mean, the stuff that he's good in, he's great in. But it's not like I kept seeking out John Candy vehicles. You know, he's just in a lot of things that I liked. And so to see this documentary, it really kind of put it into perspective of like, oh, you know, he really did a lot in a very little amount of time. You know, if you think for 20 years, that's his entire work that you've ever seen is a 20-year span. And it seems like he was just around forever, but he wasn't. It's 20 years. So that's part one. Part two, if you're going to start your documentary, a really good way to start it, if it's an autobiography documentary, is you start with Bill Murray saying, listen, you're going to have a really hard time finding people who have bad things to say about John Candy. But if you find them, you got yourself a documentary. That's a really good way to start a documentary.
That's beautiful, man.
It's just a really great way to start a doc because you're in. Like the second that conversation is had, like I'm in. Like I'm already all the way in. The third thing is, I think I didn't realize what an impact he had on people until you see Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin totally 100% wins this documentary for me, because when he's being interviewed and he starts tearing up and crying, and he has that thing, you know, he's like, you know, and he says it really matter of factly. He's not trying to be, you know, like he's not trying to like rob the spotlight from John Candy, but he just mentions it matter of factly. You know, my dad was a bad guy. And so to have somebody at a time when no one around me was like, hey, somebody's got to look out for this kid. John Candy actually did that. Like that, when that moment comes into play, like it's just, it turns into a totally different documentary for me. Like it's something, instead of just a lot of famous people saying something nice about somebody who did a really good job, into like, this is a person that is one of one for me.
I got misty-eyed during that part. It was just a little too real, you know, and that made me really admire John Candy just in that moment.
Yeah,
the part that I like that Macaulay said there though was like, listen, and you're right. He said it so matter of factly of just like, everybody knows that, you know, the reputation that my father had. And he goes, what they don't know is he was that way beforehand, and he only got worse.
Money made it worse, right?
He's like, oh yeah, it's like he was a pain before all of it happened. So like, he wasn't even in, like they didn't like him, and he wasn't even in his bad phase yet.
And so like, here is what I take away from this. This is just my overall thought about this documentary, is that if you, like me, if you have a passing interest in John Candy, because I watched this documentary and I turned it in, it wasn't like a job, like a couple of the movies that we saw last month. Like this is one of those movies where it's like, you know what, like I'll hang out, I'll be on my phone a little bit, phone's down in 10 minutes, phone's down. Yeah. I'm not looking at my phone anymore. And if you have a passing interest in John Candy, and if you're of Bruce and I's age, you do, because you grew up in the 80s and you definitely have an interest, you should watch this documentary, because there's never going to be a better one on John Candy. Like this is the best documentary you will ever get about John Candy.
Now, can I tell you something that's funny that they actually did not cover in this, that most people wouldn't give two craps about, and they probably shouldn't, whatever. And but they could have mentioned it in like maybe one or two lines or something like that. But one, I knew him from other things. Obviously, you'd seen him in everything from your Spaceballs to Vacation and all that kind of good stuff. But one of the big things that drew me to John Candy was in 1992. There was an animated television show called Camp Candy where he did the voice of Camp. It was kind of great. I really liked the show, and it had that kind of John Candy feel there to it and everything. It wasn't. I don't know how many episodes there were. Could have been a ton, but
I'm going to put you on the spot here, Portress. But does Camp Candy come out after Bobby's World? Is Bobby's World the first of that kind of cartoon?
Ooh, I can check for you real fast. So Camp Candy
like
goes
Little
from 89
Louie.
to 92. That's wild. I didn't know it'd be that.
I know Little Louie is after Bobby's World. I know that for a fact. I don't know if Camp Candy or if Bobby's World was first, though. I have no idea.
According to this, if you go by what IMDb is publishing, IMDb says Camp Candy 1989, Bobby's World 1990.
Ah, there you go.
Wow.
90 through 98, Bobby's World. Holy smokes.
Too bad
It
they
was on
never made.
forever.
Too bad they never made like a Georgie's block about a young George Carlin growing up.
Oh my God. Could you imagine how, first of all, it sounds like the best and worst idea at the same time.
They already knew that was a bad idea because he had that sitcom. Remember, he had that half-hour sitcom.
Oh, yeah.
Which was just awful. Like it's not at all what George Carlin should have been doing, and he did. And
I
it's
watched
kind of his
every
fault.
episode. I watched every episode just out of blind loyalty back then.
I think I saw
you, George.
Did
I think I
anybody
saw 2
notice?
episodes, and that was it.
Did anybody notice how quick the Little Bill cartoon went away?
Oh my Lord! Lil Bill was on forever, by the way.
But boy, it went away in the blink of an eye.
It sure did. So
No
did the
reruns
other,
of that one.
No one's rerunning Fat Albert.
That's true. It's gone now.
Oh my goodness.
It's
My
gone.
goodness gracious. So back to John Candy instead of talking about Fat Albert, which, wow, that's more of a segue than I intended. I also, one thing I take away from John Candy as he's presented to us in this documentary, obviously, you never know what you don't know. But given what we're given, I like how it shows him as a genuinely kind of person I can sort of empathize with, sympathize with, seems like a good guy, and feels sort of like the kind of person you wish you could be a little bit when you're watching this. And I don't mean the celebrity talent part. I just mean like the humanity part to a degree.
When Aykroyd is reading the eulogy there at the beginning, it's just like you listen to it, you're like, God damn, I hope somebody talks half as good about me one day. It's so beautiful.
I don't think I realized just how far back Aykroyd and Candy went. I didn't know that till this documentary, where it's before either guy is at Second City, that they're 18 and they're doing like children's theater together. What?
I love it.
Know any of this stuff. It was
crazy.
A lot of little things like that. And then, but you're right. I forgot about I even forgot the SCTV connection, because I think of a lot of the guys on there, but he's not one that my brain immediately goes to. But then you go,
oh, that's all man.
It blew my mind. Instantly. It blew my mind that Dan Aykroyd was ever the same age as my son is now. So that's what really got me about that. It's like, oh my gosh, like what Silas is doing right now is what those guys were doing when they met each other.
Well, this is the part that blows my bloody mind, is that Dan Aykroyd in 1976 is the head writer of Saturday Night Live. Dan Aykroyd is 23 years old.
But I mean, how old was Lorne?
About?
The whole idea
30.
is was
He's 30.
young idiots late at night because they're not ready for prime time.
It's just so mind blowing to me. And look, I want to bring this up first before I say what I'm going to say, which is that I found it surprisingly touching and moving, just how well this documentary is made. Where I could recommend this documentary to anyone. Like literally anyone, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I saw that documentary. It's pretty great." With that being said, who surprised you with how old they looked in this documentary? Who surprised you the most?
I'm gonna give you maybe not the answer you're looking for, but someone looked younger than I expected. As I've seen,
that's not an answer, Bruce.
Oh, okay.
That's a Portress answer, is what that is.
Catherine O'Hara looked younger than I expected, because I watched Schitt's Creek where she looked really old, and here she didn't look so bad. Yeah.
She's also insanely wealthy, because her husband is like one of the most sought after production designers in all of Hollywood, and they met on Beetlejuice. They're They just have all the money.
She's like,
Those
I'm
two.
doing fine, thank you.
And
They
I'm
use
pretty sure
they use her money for fun stuff.
That's the vacation money.
her mother got spanked by John Wayne, so maybe she got some money for that too.
So like for me, I'll just come out and say it. When you first see Dan Aykroyd in this doc, I was like, oh wow, Dan, it looks really old, right? But
Mhm.
then they bring out Dave Thomas, and I was like, oh my god, is Dave Thomas 100?
Well, the thing I was going to mention Dave Thomas's hair, like that was my go-to. Is just like,
well, sir.
and he's got and God bless him. Now, granted, he was crying some of the time, so I'm not going to take nothing away. But even when not crying, eyes awful glassy. Brucey, what do you think on the eyeballs?
I just think maybe he had a
Thomas
few
don't
because he
mind.
was nervous, hadn't been in front of the camera for a while. I think that Dave Thomas, it shocks us how old he looks because we haven't seen him in a while. But like every now and then, Dan Aykroyd will show up as a talking head on something, or in a cameo in yet another Ghostbusters, or advertising some skull filled with vodka or something. And
Right.
so we see him from time to time.
Let me ask you this, fellas. What magician store do you think he gets his outfits from?
The one at Myrtle Beach, there's a Barefoot Landing, whatever.
He looks like he's going to come over and like read your tarot cards and do some close-up magic on you or something. What are you doing, Dan Aykroyd? You are 70, you're 80 years old at this point.
But and you look at somebody like Eugene Levy, who Eugene Levy started getting hot like 5 years ago. And
Yeah, all
it's
of a
just so
sudden.
weird to see where you're like, is that the most dapper man I've ever seen in my life? He's so damn handsome now.
Once Anthony Davis made the unibrow fashionable, it really hit Levy's social card heavily.
That shit's gone now, baby. He don't have no unibrow no more.
Well, maybe it'll make a comeback before I die.
If his hair hadn't always been so thick and perfect his entire life, you'd think his hair was fake. But I'm starting to question. I don't know. I
It's
want to
not
tug
fake.
on it.
There's no
right?
way that hair is. There's no way that hair is fake. There's no way. You couldn't do a reasonable facsimile of that man's hair. You couldn't do it.
Lustrous. It's just like
it's amazing. It's amazing.
It's just terrible.
And you see it. And when you see him after, Bill Murray's on screen, who's never had a good day, and like all these other guys,
more like hell every year.
and Steve Martin's doing great because he's got all that money, so he's got some work done. Like he still looks great. He doesn't look like Courtney Cox with the amount of work, but like he's got some work done.
He got a little bit.
And then Eugene Levy shows up, and you're like, sir. Your 20s were a nightmare. Your 30s was like just a train wreck. And then when you turned 40, things started turning around for you, which means at some point, gentlemen, we are going to be the best looking people in the room. At some point.
All I got to say, Sean, is still having your hair after 50 goes a long way.
That's true.
Ooh, yeah, there's some of these poor guys are just like, 23 and it's all the way at the back. And you're like, my God, poor bastard.
Oh, it's coming for you, pal, is what I think whenever I see that. Like, especially like people who are like, like at least the way it used to be, where like in college, you'd have the kids with like the punk rock hair that I couldn't do because my hair's too heavy. And like they got the Jack Nicholson widow's peak and stuff, and their hair is purple, and it's just like, enjoy it now, fella, because that's gonna be gone.
Wear too many hats. I love the stuff about about his family and everything. I don't know that I ever really truly knew a whole lot about John Candy's family and stuff, and like married to one woman the entire time and everything. She seems awful lovely. That was a surprise to me. I really like that, and again, for the time in which and the company with which this man often kept, things could be very bad for John Candy.
Sure.
He could be a horrible person, but it sounds like he had a little bit of fun. We all have a little bit of fun, especially if you're that kind of famous and everything. But still, it sounds like a very dutiful father, somebody that would always want to be home instead of having to always kind of go out and stuff like that. And again, I not stuff you quite expected as much. You're like, well, where's the Chris Farley arc or the Belushi arc or something like that? Because it always kind of seems to go in that direction and stuff. But
I think that part of his life is in between the lines, because
there's a list.
when SCTV starts and he's clearly the star of that show, I think that's probably where all of the shenanigans come into play. But because they're in Winnipeg, there's no
No media.
like, right,
H-
there's no media there, and so like there's not a big shining spotlight on the big guy doing cocaine at the time. And then, once you learn by the end of his life, like he's got a nutritionist and he's working out and he's doing all these things, but he also knows that he needs to keep the weight on. Like, it's the push pull of like, I still want to be viable work wise, but I also need to be healthier than I am. And so, with those last 5 years where he's, doing things a lot better than he did. Although when you see him on that poster for Wagons East, it's like, oh man, like he's probably $4 on that poster.
Oh, easily, I would say, yeah.
I think for me, or at least my own personal interpretation of when he had his dark chapter, that Chris Farley stage, I think for me, it was when he bought the Argonauts, or when he was in the ownership of the Argonauts, and he was pouring everything into that and still trying to maintain a career. And I just kind of wonder if he had never gotten involved with the Argonauts, or if he had just maybe, make some appearances at home games and wave from the press box and let that be it, instead of becoming the face of the CFL. I think he would have lived longer. I really do. I mean, that was not good for his heart, everything he was doing for the CFL.
I don't know the answer to that, Bruce. I think that when Wayne Gretzky calls you and you're a Canadian, you're taking that phone call. I would take the phone call. I ain't Canadian.
And you know what? You take the phone call and you let him put your picture on the posters, and you do a couple of commercials and you go to a couple of home games. But Candy really believed in the cause, right, and he devoted 100% of himself to it while still being relevant in Hollywood. And, when they talk about him signing autographs for 3 hours, and, we love when we hear stories about that. But the problem is, if you give, people will take it until there's nothing left. And that includes your life force, basically.
Yes.
And yeah, you don't want to break one little kid's heart. And people say, would it have killed you to sign one more autograph? Well, maybe in his case it would. If he had signed one less autograph, who knows? Maybe he would have gotten another day at least with his family. And he had
heard it here
two
first.
Beautiful children.
You heard it here first, folks. Kids asking for autographs is what killed John Candy.
Either that or a puppy that wanted to be petted.
So if you asked John Candy for an autograph when you were a child, congratulations, you are part of the problem. We lost.
Unless you're Macaulay Culkin, he paid his dues.
Man, did he? My word, did he?
Sorry, turned out to be a remarkably cool guy against all odds too.
Yeah, when you look at like the just the aftermath of what John Belushi left in his wake versus what John Candy left in his wake, it's night and day, man. You have all those people who are like, I'm so afraid. I was so afraid of John Belushi during certain moments that I wouldn't even speak to him. I would just like hide away from him. No one's saying that about Candy. Everyone's got that, but everyone's got that moment too where they're like, I showed my ass to Candy, and Candy put his hand on me and let me know, listen, I'm choosing to be gentle Ben, but I don't have to be. And like people are like, okay, gotcha, boss. Like
the only reason I'm here is because I don't have a kneecap. Otherwise, I'd probably be on the gridiron. Don't forget that. Right. I have a gentle face, but I have the.
That's what I was at. That was why I was watching this. I'm like, Bruce, how does this work? One not having a kneecap.
It works, I guess, like you become an instant overnight success in the world of comedy. So all you aspiring people, go out there and get your kneecaps removed.
Blast that kneecap off right here and now, everybody. That'll get you straight to the top.
Medically speaking, I would imagine that it would make your knee weaker. So that's why, like with football, you wouldn't want to be cutting on it. Yeah. You wouldn't want to be getting hit on it, but you can walk around and stuff. You probably can't run or jog very well.
Right.
I was one of those things. I'm like, one can go without a kneecap, I guess. Okie dokie.
I would not recommend mud wrestling, despite what, who directed that? Was that Reitman?
I think it was Ramis.
Oh, Ramis.
Was it?
Let's take a look.
I could be wrong.
It sounds right.
again, I did not know. I didn't know any of the regular family dynamic stuff. Dad dying early, having that sort of kind of cloud over his head, and again, something that you don't think about, and the family not even talking about it. It's just like, oh yeah, Dad died. We're not going to be
Yeah, that's
practically not going
crazy.
to see anything.
That's
it's like,
crazy.
wow.
What were your
didn't even
guesses
skip
again?
his
What
birthday
were your
party.
guesses again for who directed Stripes?
Ramus
Reitman and Ramis were the two that I remember.
And what did you guys think? I can't remember because I remember
When you
who I
said
thought it was.
Ramis, I said that sounds right, but man,
I said Ramus. That was my thought.
Written by Ramis, well, co-written by Ramis, but directed by Raymond.
There you go.
hey, at least I wasn't like way off like I usually
Call
am.
it out.
Was it De Palma? Was it De Palma or Scorsese?
Hey, those are very different people. I'll tell you that.
De Palma or Coppola?
It is crazy, man. Like when you think of, that also kind of feels like, because the way that the documentary is made, it sounds like that was the fuel that made him go, was his dad dying so young. And I don't like, sometimes shit just happens. Like sometimes there doesn't need to be a reason. Like that's just the way some people are built. Like it's a good theory, but it's a theory.
I think he had the Damocles over his head of like the 30s, like 35, or when his dad died or whatever. I think he had that little bit. I don't know that like all of the decisions were necessarily on that or anything, but I'm sure that I feel like that definitely loomed in his head as just like, hey, this is about how much time I feel like I've got. And he didn't have a ton more. He had about a decade more than that, but not by much.
A lot of times you can only interpret the world through your own experiences and that sort of thing. And I don't know if it's because his dad died or not, but I think he's one of those people that felt like, hey, I just need you to know that I'm here. Like, you don't even have to like me or dislike me. I just want you to be aware that I'm here.
Right.
Especially like, the falling in love with theater when he was in high school and couldn't play football anymore. That's like, hey, people still know that I exist, and there is a certain, certain atypical condition there. I don't know what you would call it or what it would be. And I don't know if it's because his father died or maybe he still would have felt that way if his father had been there. But I absolutely felt a certain longing that I could relate to there with everything that he's doing. So, when you project, you don't know if it's because you and that person have something in common or you only know one way to look at the situation. But that's how I saw it, is he's one of those folks that are like, hey, I'm here, guys. Look at me.
So can we talk about the best thing about this documentary? And I was so surprised because at the beginning of the documentary, it's right there. It's right there in front of your eyes. It's a maximum effort production. So you immediately know, yes. This is Ryan Reynolds produced this thing. And to have the fortitude and just the good thought of, maybe I shouldn't be in this, maybe I shouldn't be one of the talking heads, is really one of the greatest things Ryan Reynolds has ever done. Now, I like Deadpool. I'm a white male. I love Deadpool, but I'm just so surprised that his ego let him let it go and just produce this thing. And it might be his best performance, in my opinion. The fact that he kept himself out of this documentary, because he totally could have. And we all, I fully expected to see it. I fully expected at some point for him to be serious Ryan Reynolds and put on Ryan Reynolds' serious voice. And it never happened. Yeah.
I think I agree. Commendable is the word I would use, man. It is commendable that he wasn't in it. And I would fear that he would because boy, it would be easy for any of us, that are about Ryan Reynolds' age to sit down and come up with a narrative like, my whole life I wanted to be what I am because of John Candy.
And Canadian and everything.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure that John Candy was one of many influences on Ryan Reynolds, but I think it would have been real easy to make it like, oh, I'm Ryan Reynolds and I became who I am because of John Candy. So yeah, that's called I Like Me, John Candy, but it's actually like, you like me, I'm Ryan Reynolds. And the fact that he didn't do that,
that was the subtitle right underneath.
I mean, don't forget, he had Rick Moranis on a commercial for Mint Mobile. The guy loves Canadian comedians. Like he just loves them to death.
And I think he treats them in a way that
to not be in it, like just amazing.
And I think that he has a genuine respect for them, and that's why he's not in it. Because it's easy to just say this is my thing. I'm Canadian, so rah rah. I'm gonna rally around him. But it seems like genuine respect from from one guy who knows nothing about this other guy.
The other thing that kind of surprised me, and it shouldn't have, because once I started thinking about it, is that Colin Hanks is the one who's directing this. And I was like, why Colin Hanks? And then you remember, oh, right, he was probably a kid when Hanks and Candy are making Splash. But then literally a year later, they're both in Volunteers together. So for 2 years, probably longer than 2 years, Colin Hanks is around John Candy, like in some capacity. And so, of course, it would make total sense that Colin Hanks just loves John Candy because he was around him at that age where it was like he's the perfect age to just be like, John Candy might be the funniest person in the world to me, and he's right there,
Colin Hanks has a brother, right?
Yes, Chet.
Is his okay? Oh, yeah. Now, for a long time, I thought Colin and Chet were the same person, and you can imagine the cognitive dissonance that came out of that.
No, one is a white rapper, and the other one and the other one is somebody who keeps trying to get the fuck out of Hollywood, but he just keeps coming back in, man. And it's because of the projects, like literally after, because he's on that show, The Good Guys. Is that the name of the TV show he's on?
I'm not familiar with it.
He's on a TV show that's on Fox, and he likes the show a lot. Like he's like, this is the thing that I've been waiting for. And it just tanks. It just tanks. Like for some reason it doesn't work. And he decides, like back then, he decides, I need to get the hell out of here. Like I don't like this thing that I really, really love didn't work. I'm gone. And yet projects keep bringing him back where he's like, oh, wait a minute. No, this is fun. This is fun. I'll do this. Okay, this is fun. I'll do this too.
Tom and Friends is the program you're talking about. That's a weird name. 150 episodes.
Talking Tom and Friends?
And that's all I'm seeing. He did 150 episodes of whatever the hell that is. No, that's an animated thing. That's not what you're talking about. But he did 150 episodes of that.
Well, good for him, man. Yeah, that's steady work.
It's like a live action, like two detectives and dude who is on The West Wing and is in Get Out. Bradley Whitford is in it. He's the other guy. He's the other detective. And Colin Hanks is like the button down guy. Okay, fine. I'll look it up.
I don't know. I tried.
So anyway, while you're looking that up, I do want to talk a little bit more about John Candy here. And I was impressed with the amount of grace with which he handled a lot of interviewers that were just being disrespectful to his face. Like not only with the first question when he's clearly uncomfortable with it and wants to change the subject, and then they keep plowing in with the follow-ups.
Yeah.
And I don't think I could ever handle that with the kind of grace he did. And you could see that it was hurt. It wasn't even like anger or rage. It was hurt in his eyes. And that's why he handled it as such, as he felt almost, it communicated to me that he almost felt he deserved that disrespect. And that, that almost broke my heart there, as much as your heart can break for a very, very happy, successful person.
He's doing, yeah, exactly. There's a look of like, oh, God, why did you bring this up? What is it? What's the point of this? It's like yet another person doing this yet again. And it's just like, I don't make it the focus. Everyone else is making the focus. And when I thought about this, when that was going on, was how it still hasn't kind of gone away in a lot of ways, because if you'll remember the hell that Jonah Hill goes through, just like they have treated this man horribly over the years. Yeah. And it's just like, and it's so disrespectful to sit down and be like, hey, you're just a super big fat guy. Are you only a fat guy, you big fat guy? It's just like, Jesus Christ, have a little bit of dignity, man.
The reporters for Candy, though, because it's still during a time where like, I'm funny too. Like local reporters where they're like, so you basically play big fat idiots. what's it like to be a big fat idiot, like stuff like that. And you really can see it, Bruce. That was a very good point by you. Is you can totally see the man is not angry, the man is hurt. And then he has another, he's got to be on camera with you for 10 more minutes, even though he does not have to be doing your stupid local TV show, idiot. Like he has the grace enough to finish the interview instead of just pulling I'm getting out of here and pulling the mic off and walking off, which he totally could have done and no one would have blamed him for. And he just had the grace to just get through it.
To smile and try to like do the best he can to like, let me see if I can put a little joke in here, or even like, you know, a little just reflexive self kind of like, hey, you know, I don't really blah, blah, blah. He just kind of like just to throw it off as best you can. And even very often trying to change the subject and no one catching any hints. It's like, my goodness, people.
So it's called The Good Guys. The TV show I thought of, it is called The Good Guys. In fact, it ran from 2010 all the way to 2010. It's got 20 episodes. It is Bradley Whitford. It is Colin Hanks. The problem is my timeline is all screwy because he had done a bunch of stuff after that. But I do remember that he was like, I'm getting out of the business. But I thought it was because of The Good Guys. It's not. It's because of something else. So I'm talking out of my bum.
I also like the way this documentary kind of stressed how effective John Candy could be as a ringer to bring in. Like if you really needed your movie was just missing something and it needed that shot in the arm, like how he comes into Vacation, and then again he comes in with Home Alone, and you know ends up with that great working relationship with Hughes also along the way. But I do love how they showed like one guy's standout performance really can lift something up, and with Candy, you know you're going to get something special. And the way that they milked him for 23 hours on Home Alone always makes me pity the guy. It's like no good deed goes unpunished.
And I love Macaulay just being like, hey, listen, everybody goes like, oh, Molly Ringwald. He's like, I've done as many movies as Molly Ringwald has with.
Right.
Like John's done like 7. So like if there's anybody who's kind of the face of John Hughes movies, it's John Candy.
Well, just hearing that they went on vacations together and their families together and stuff like that. That's good. It's one of the reasons why I think the drugs are there is because there is no way in hell that John Hughes is going on vacation and isn't just blowing the place up, if you know what I mean.
I picture like John Hughes in the driver's seat, John Candy in the passenger seat, and they got a couple of, I don't know, wives or something in the back, and they're in that Griswold family station wagon going to Aruba.
In a station wagon.
Isn't that what the Griswolds had?
No, that they're going to Aruba in a station wagon.
Yes, because that is the plot of the film, is how in the world are we going to get these tires inflated enough to float to Aruba?
The toll roads of Bermuda are insane. You don't want to have to.
You know, if you took all the steel that it takes to build a bridge to Aruba and laid it in the end, it would reach from Jenkinstown, Pennsylvania to Philadelphia.
You actually almost said it correctly this time. So
Patreon. I was afraid I would ruin my streak.
Everyone in here scratching their heads. What the hell are they even talking about?
Another surprise for me in this documentary. I did not realize how young Christopher Columbus is.
You mean
I know? I tried to figure out who he was when he was popping up in the documentaries. Like, is that another Culkin brother that I don't know about?
Well, he's got a brand new leather or jean jacket, which looks nice, and a crispy ass hat. Also, like maybe a little bit, wrong for his age, but
But I mean, he looks amazing. I mean,
he looks good. He looks real good. I think the beard helps.
He directed Home Alone. He's been around forever.
30 years.
Why does it cause Adam so much pain just to say yes? He looks good.
I'm just saying. He also he's kind of like he's hot. He looks a little like he's Fred Durst. I'm just saying.
Like, are you guys on the same?
Joy.
He's not competition on the dating app, man.
Listen,
no one should be happy. No one.
No, listen. If I'm not happy, by God, I'm going to make sure everyone else is miserable as well. Mark it. Yes, he's a very handsome man of age. Yes, I agree.
Couldn't believe it.
When Dan Aykroyd looks a gajillion years old over here in his magician's outfit, what again? I just can't get past. I'm so glad he wasn't like they weren't just cutting to that all the time of him just in that. Because again, it looks like, what was that show that Jonathan Frakes was on where he'd always be coming out and telling you about, like, was this story real or not true? That looks like where he's at. Where there's
Yes,
smoke
real
machine
or
shit in the background, and you're like, what's happening here? What mystical layer did you end up going to interview Dan Aykroyd at? And I would love to see if it had at the bottom in parentheses Aykroyd's home. Like that's like where he.
Well, the scenes that they sort of highlighted and kind of putting that emphasis on bringing John Candy in with the ringer just made me wonder if he's one of those guys. It's just such a ball of energy that is really where he does his art the best, is as that guy that comes in and steals the scenes rather than being the center that the movie's built around. Like I feel like he needs a straight man to work against, I guess.
It can be, but I also think that it's a large section of what they said about him just kind of saying yes to just about anything.
Because he can't say no. You know, like he needed a couple of people around him who were like, "Hey, listen, you know, it's the joke. It's the joke that is in that one roast for Jerry Stiller, where Jeffrey Ross. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but he does roasts.
What's this now?
Yeah, he's a comedian who does roasts.
Okay.
He is on back when it wasn't all he did. He had this really great joke where he's going after Janine Garofalo. And he's like, Janine Garofalo, it's okay to say no, sweetie. It's okay to say no. I saw Mystery Men, and that movie's so bad I fired my agent.
Oh my goodness.
And somebody needed somebody who could have done that for him. Like
he needed one mean kid to tell all those kids no who wanted autographs. Just one mean kid, one less autograph. We still.
Well, I mean, that's the secret to Tom Hanks, man.
Yeah,
Tom Hanks is very, like, truly a lovely person, but he surrounds himself with just the worst human beings in the world because he knows he needs them.
Do you remember an animated primetime television show in which John Goodman was the voice of a lion?
Yes, it's Father of the Pride is what you're talking
one time
about.
as a special guest, Eddie Murphy was on the show voicing Donkey, and John Goodman's character was like, man, Donkey would really help our charity if we just ask him to come to the parade. And of course, Eddie Murphy's like, yeah, of course, you know, I'll be there. I could never say no to that. And then he walks away and he's got a manager, not going to happen. And like, that's what John Candy needed. So he could be the good guy and have somebody else walk up behind him. Not going to happen for less than 1.7 million.
Yes, of course. I mean, you need those people because otherwise people are trying to take, I mean, like you said at the beginning, man, like people are trying to take everything they can from you. A certain type of person is trying to take everything they can from you.
Could you hear me hit the brakes before I did an Eddie Murphy impression? I almost slipped into that.
No, that's Portress territory, dude. Portress has no problem slipping into. This is my black voice.
The only thing I have going for me is I'm so bad at impressions. People be like, "Why is he?
Is that Italian?
Irish?
What is he doing?
It's kind of Irish and also kind of Eastern European. I didn't even know
me,
those two.
Donkey.
I'm a Shrek. He's so good.
So to give you guys an example of how young Christopher Columbus actually is, because I just did the math. Christopher Columbus is 67 years old, which means when he shot Home Alone, that dude was 24 years old.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, 24.
What?
Yes.
That is so impressive to me.
That's insane because like
who trusts a 24-year-old with that project?
With that one for sure. Look how huge it was. But here's the thing, because like the magic age for a lot of directors, if you kind of look at this over the span of years, especially from like kind of film brat era onward and everything, 27 is like kind of like the like, oh, if you're getting in at like 27, that's like, wow, you're a pretty young director. So 24 is friggin' nuts.
I was hoping you were going to say like 52, 53, 54, you know. You know what I mean, Sean? I thought it's something to look
a lot
forward
of
to.
them, like Tarantino and a whole bunch of those crews, like a lot of those guys were like, we want to make something definitely before we're 30. 27 seemed to be about the age most of them wanted to have something done before then. But 24 is wild. I don't know how you pull that off, especially that Home Alone is so big. It's so big. It's just, I would never, it'd be, I don't know, I'd give that to a 30-year-old. Get out of here.
My guess is that your DP probably doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Also, you got him on set every day. I mean, you've got John Hughes on set probably every day for that thing. And so it probably helped. Let's say helped. John Hughes was a screamer. So like I could totally see it being a nightmare with John Hughes on set, but it did facilitate a 24-year-old to be able to direct Home Alone. So there is a good output.
And not a ton of sets and stuff like that. So you can kind of think a little bit that way, but still complicated stuff doing.
Something that they didn't mention in this documentary, but I'm pretty certain that another source where I heard the story mentioned that John Candy did his day on Home Alone for scale as a favor to Hughes. So I could just imagine like you're flying in to do one day at scale as a favor to a friend, and a 24-year-old kid keeps you up for 23 straight hours. That's a crazy story to me now. Like that's a whole aspect I didn't even think about.
That's a John thing. That's just because John.
Yeah, that's gotta be John Hughes.
That's called Hughes all day.
My boy needs a little bit of help here, and I'm gonna do him a solid. Yeah, and because and I do like this, like, hey, we got him for 20. Got him for one day. All right, we'll use him for 23 hours. It's called squeeze that lemon as hard as you can, boy. And here's the thing: he's such an underrated moment in that film. Him just connecting with her and just like that reassurance of like, hey, not all parents are perfect here and everything's like my life.
Kids are resilient. Kids are resilient. He keeps saying that.
He gives such a great warm performance in that. It's just like for something that could, like, you would imagine could go really off the rails super fast if you just got with some weird polka guys in the middle of nowhere driving in a snowstorm. Seems like it could be the worst time, but they got one of the good ones. I love, again, I forget all of the, like, we sold 63 copies of that.
In so Chicago, the last thing, no Sheboygan.
The other thing that I want to talk about that I thought it was a really nice way to book in the documentary. You have Aykroyd's words at his funeral at the beginning, and then at the end you have Catherine O'Hara. And Catherine O'Hara is the correct one to have as the last words of the eulogy for the end of the documentary. Like, to the point where I was like, you could not have picked a more perfect person, right? Because you got Aykroyd is his best friend, like which I don't think I realized that. I always thought for some reason that Belushi was his best friend, but no, it's Candy was his best friend. Boy, what a bad decade that dude had, huh? Jesus, man, he did fine. Like he's fine, but a lot of people have a lot of bad decades. Anyway,
there's a reason he drinks hard liquor straight from the skull,
right? But having Catherine O'Hara's eulogy at the end was just like the best touch to a very, very good documentary, in my opinion. Like, this is one of those documentaries where if somebody needs a recommendation, it's one of like the 5 movies that I would recommend. Like, do you like documentaries? Here's the one, because no one's seen this documentary. It's on Prime. No one watches documentaries on Prime.
Number 3 in the country.
Great.
People watching it.
Great. Well, I'm glad. Yeah. But no one I know has come up to me and been like, hey, you seen that John Candy documentary? Like,
Prime is a rough one comparatively. Yeah, for sure. Though it's not like your Netflix, or like if it was on HBO, you'd probably hear people talking about it a bit more than they are, despite all of the great reviews and stuff.
From what I understand, everybody who's watched it has liked it. So, go check out your Prime.
Yeah, how do you sit and watch this and go, bullshit? No, you're gonna watch.
Not a fan. Also, who's looking at John Candy being like, not a fan? No, thank you.
What with the merriment and jokes? No, thank you. I don't. Why would anyone need that?
Left us too soon. Who cares?
Big whoop. John
Stupid
Candy. We're like,
family
I
man.
don't care.
Idiot wanted to. He's the only guy during the Vietnam War that wanted to go the other direction from
Right.
Canada to the US.
Right. And they wouldn't let him.
Because he didn't have a kneecap.
Sir, you got no knee.
And that's like, and here's the thing: as Canadian as John Candy most certainly was and stuff, like he did have an American sensibility to it and everything, which was very nice. You know, he seemed like he liked this country very much as well, which is always awesome to us. Well, let's get to it, boys. Bruce, what is your rating and recommendations for John Candy? I Like Me.
I recommend this to everyone. Everyone between the ages, I'll say, of like 12 and 85. Beyond that, it's probably not for you. So I'm going to give this the big solid five pieces of candy. That's how I'm going to rate things this month. How many pieces of candy? Lord. So you get all the five best pieces here.
Sean.
I'm going with the recommendation of Candyland from 8 to 80.
Nice.
And it's called Candyland. Whoa!
And hello.
Sometimes
you think you got a piece of that?
Sometimes you're just good, boys. Sometimes you're just good. This is the highest of recommendations for me. This is one of those documentaries that I might check out again in a couple of years. Like not right away, but if I have a tendency to hold on to things that make me feel happy, and this is one of those things. And it's just touching and it's moving and it makes you like, oh, sometimes good guys do win. And it's just such a lovely it's just such a lovely piece of media. It's 2 hours, right? You don't feel it. It's just it's just the best, man.
This documentary is
five candies.
It's so good. Someday when I die, I just hope somebody misses me enough and cares enough and they're creative enough to just go and watch this documentary and enjoy it because they know I liked it.
That's your best joke, Bruce Leslie. That's the best joke you've ever made.
Been working on it for 20 minutes. That's why I haven't been saying much.
That's the best joke you've ever made, Bruce Leslie. Back. Holy hell. The boy is growing up right in front of our eyes, Portrait. Right in front of our eyes.
It only took a decade. I guess by the time you about hit puberty with it, sure, it's about to kick in. This is a 5-star recommendation for me as well. It's such an easy watch, and you're right, Sean. I didn't realize this thing was 2 hours. I'd have told you it was 90 minutes because it flies by. It's so much. It's despite there being sad moments and teary eyed stuff. It's ultimately very affirming. You know,
yes.
it also lets you know that, like, hey, man, John Candy led a good life. He wasn't here for long, but boy, oh boy, did he leave an impact and everything. And it seemed like he did the best job that he possibly could. And listen, man, when your wife and kids can sit there and posthumously just praise you up and down and everything, what more you want, man? What more you want?
Best.
And then everyone else considers you, this great comedy legend. I don't know how much better you could be doing on that. And again, if you'll get through the Dan Aykroyd eulogy there in the beginning, it's like if you get through that and you're just like, well, God, I want to know about this person. I want to know about the person who receives this kind of eulogy and stuff like that. And then you get to learn all about him and just what a great time. And again, I would recommend if you do like this, check out his Colin Hanks's other documentary on Tower Records from really a couple of years back. Real solid stuff.
Yep.
That is it, everybody. We got more of this coming next week as our Thanksgiving candy rolls on. We are up next with Uncle Buck, another John Candy and John Hughes classic here and everything. So we're going to be checking that out next week. In the meantime, Bruce, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
Hey, go straight to YouTube. We have all 13 episodes of Scare and Karen's 13 Days of Halloween. We start off with The Monkey from Osgood Perkins, which is great. We finish up, of course, with John Carpenter's Halloween, and there's a whole lot in between, including the one movie I got to pick was Shrunken Heads, and I won't be picking anymore.
Let me tell you, watching the review of Shrunken Heads, and
oh gosh,
and your wife's just like, what a saint this woman is. You can tell she wants to choke the hell out of you.
Isn't that one of the movies that we saw on the old show?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was
You
like,
didn't learn then?
I like that movie.
Right, but you do know people's responses to that. Were you hoping
I
for
thought that I
another?
thought everybody else was the problem.
You still do. You still do.
I think it's
Hey,
you.
I like me.
Yeah, that's true. Bruce do be liking him. It's true indeed. That is it, everybody. Join. Oh, and check out our YouTube page if you haven't there. And if you're still sticking around here in the chat and everything, hit that like and subscribe button, all the bell notifications, all that kind of good stuff. We got more good things coming your way. We love you very much, everybody. Thank you so much. Patreon.com/HMP. That is it, everybody. Join us next week when we're talking Uncle Buck for Sweet Sean's and Kovacs from the United. Bruce Leslie, I'm at a portrait reminding you to get out there and watch some movies, you dirty babies.
So I sold